We're being bombarded with information, overwhelmed with what ifs, not sure who or what to trust. And we're being slowly released into a post-COVID world, a world where we're all guessing at what might be next, how long it might be next, what's changed about the world and what's the same. We're all grappling for the right answer and the right solutions, when in fact really what we have is a communal desire that there is a future, that you and I know that there's possibility ahead, and that we can resurrect our small businesses. We can bring them back and in fact make them even better than they once were. The reality is that in this post-COVID world, there is no turning back. We can't go back to school, back to work, back to our lives, because back doesn't exist. You and I as humans have fundamentally changed and shifted. The core of what we do might remain the same, but the way that shows itself, the things that we buy, the way that we buy, what's become important to us, have all shifted to some degree during COVID. My name's Morris and I'm a business futurist. This is the second in a two-part series where we have a look at a post-COVID world, where we have a look at a world where we're not going to go back. We're going to take the best of who we once were, the lessons that we've learnt through COVID, and we're going to blend those together with a post-COVID response, a response that makes our SMEs more resilient than we've ever been before, that fine-tunes what we offer and how we offer it, that has everything just at that beautiful point where we're making indecent profits together. That's the world ahead. That's the world that you and I can create. In the first part of this series, we had a look at our customers and how they might have evolved. We asked ourselves the questions that coming out of COVID, what lessons do we need to learn so that we're ready for our future customers? If you haven't already done so, have a look at part 1 and journey through the questions you need to ask yourself, the things that you need to understand so that you are ready to meet your customers and to exceed their expectations of you. We did the same with staff. Those Herculean people that literally on a second's notice were no longer doing what they used to do for you, where they used to do it, how and why they used to do it. Many took versions of that home. They provided their own property, their own homes, their own desks, their own computers, whatever they needed to make sure that collectively the work could be done. They did that while simultaneously working through their lives, their families, being unsure of what the next minute, let alone tomorrow, might hold. Our staff are incredible. But who are they coming back to us? What changes have they seen? What changes do they want? Do we still need them back? Do they need to come back in the way they did before? They're all questions we need to ask ourselves as SME, and again, covered in the first video. We also wrapped up that first video by looking at the physical workplace, the space that your people came back to you or will come back to you in. Asked ourselves the questions of, is that space still relevant? If it is it COVID ready? And again, the questions, issues and concerns around workplace are all raised, asked and answered in video 1. I want to pick up that thread, and again the purpose of this is as SME owners who are very busy, and I get that, and we're pragmatic and we have to get through today, but we have been shown now firsthand, you and I, that in response to COVID we are more than capable of innovating. We might not like what it is that we had to innovate from, we may hate it, we may hate the opportunities and what was left for us to decide with, but we did it anyway. And as SME owners we've always done that. I'd guess that the thing that brought you to being an SME owner is the reality that one night you couldn't get to sleep, or you woke up early one morning and said, I've got it, Eureka! I know exactly how I should do this thing like it's never been done before. And that passion took you into building your own SME. That was innovation. We need you to bring that. I need you to bring that. You need you to bring that right now to the fore. We need to look at innovation and our products and services. We'll go back perhaps to the core of what we did, how we did, accountants, solicitors, landscapers, cooks, chefs, drivers, all of us will go back to what we did before. But we will be slightly, mildly or wildly changed in the way we do it because of COVID. Things will have shifted, they will have altered. They just have to have because of what we've been through. And you and I need to make sure that our products and services are finely tuned to tomorrow, that they really are a COVID response. They've taken into account the changes we've learnt. Maybe we've found new products through COVID. Maybe we've learnt some of the products we used to have aren't as important. Maybe we're offering new ways to deal with our products. Like the great cafes and restaurants that were told with COVID that they would be shuttering up and closing. We didn't see how they would be able to come back very quickly. But within a few days, human resilience being incredible. If customers couldn't come to them, they would go to the customers. They brought the counter to the front door. They brought in touch and go. They shortened their menus and they made it easy for us to stand on the footpath and to order our coffees and then to walk away. They made sure that they could home deliver. They changed their menus so they were more relevant to families, more relevant to what we might call ordinary family meals. If they couldn't offer us an in-house experience, they sent the experience home. They sent it in a box with ingredients pre-cut, with a sauce that's maybe pre-made and instructions of how to put the whole thing together. At every stage, that incredible industry asked itself, what did we used to do? What can we do? And what will our customers want? And they offered that the best way they could. I think there's an incredible lesson in it for all of us. It's not what we'll carry on with permanently, but I would guess many of them will take elements of that into their tomorrow, into their post-COVID world. And I want you to do exactly the same. When you've decided on what those post-COVID responses are, it's no good keeping it a secret if you and your staff are the only people that know the changes you've made. So you've got to go look at your sales and marketing. How is it that you're representing and presenting your products and services? What are you saying about them that's different now than it was before? Are you giving clear evidence that this is post-COVID product and service? It doesn't matter what you're offering. We all, as customers, consumers, want to be sure that you have learnt lessons, that your product is hygienic, that you are safe to deal with, that you have a COVID response should something untoward happen again. We want to know that the product actually works in a post-COVID world and is relevant. You might have to reteach us why we want it as well, because the reason for wanting it might have changed through COVID. There are lots of things that you need to communicate. Need to look around your physical premises if you have them too. Are your posters, your signage, your merchandising, the visual cues that you're giving to the public, do they make sense now? Are they still relevant in a post-COVID world? I'm not asking you to change everything. That's of course not what we're going to do. But we're at least going to examine everything. We're not going to be lazy. We're going to ask ourselves the question of every single thing we do have an offer. Does this fit in the COVID world? If it doesn't and it can't, we're going to thank it and move away. If it does but it needs tweaking, we're going to tweak it. And then we're going to yell from the rafters and tell everybody about who we are now in a new post-COVID world. That's how you and I are going to continue to be incredibly successful small business owners. Because behind all of this, we're talking about an age-old activity. Something that for 30 years around the globe, on stages, in boardrooms, in workshops, and in the media, I'm told every single day. As a small business owner, Morris, we just don't have time to innovate. We're too busy getting our orders out, too busy coping with yesterday's problems. But I'm here to tell you, as I did for 30 years, and as I strongly tell you now, we can innovate. COVID taught us that. We have to innovate. COVID's taught us that. We have to respond to current circumstance. COVID taught us that. And we have to adapt and change as best as we can to continue to make profit if at all possible. If nothing else, COVID absolutely taught us that. So come on, you know you can do it. You know your people are capable of it. You know your products and services can be shifted and reshaped if they need to be. So moving forward, you and I are going to make a promise to each other that we are now going to continuously innovate. It's going to be at the core of what we do. We're not going to fall back into old habits. We're going to form new ones. Now, I know innovation is not something that comes naturally to lots of people. So to make it easier, I've looked back through my 30 years around the globe with all the corporations, companies, SMEs, startups, and everybody else I've worked with. And I've taken the best of all of those activities and I've squeezed them into an easy to follow 7-step process. In this 7-step process, I want to take you through every stage and every phase of innovation. I want to have a look at what it is and describe the 3 different phases of it. There are, in fact, three distinct innovation pieces of activity, and you need to be aware of all three and what it is you might need to do. You're also going to have a look at the types of evolution, the types of innovation that might be possible. I want to give you some really good examples, case studies of where others have innovated. I want to show you where to find innovation, and it's hanging around you, literally. You just need to know how and what it is and how to grab it. I'm going to show you all of those things and take you through it step by step. I want to help you to sort through it too. So in this process, in this 7-step process, we're going to sort through all those brilliant ideas you've come up with. We're going to prioritize them. We're going to make sense of them. We're going to figure out which one goes first, which one goes second. And then we're going to have a good look at each one of them, and we're going to build a case moving forward. We're going to understand what we need to do right now, later on today, tomorrow, after tomorrow, and next week to bring these things to profitable reality. And then I'm going to show you how to turn the innovation engine on, how to bring that incredibly new piece of wonderfulness into your organization, and how to begin to make profit from it. I promise you it's a really easy, step-by-step, follow me along, connect the dots opportunity to understand and to embed innovation into your corporation, into your SME. And to get rid of some of the other excuses, because I know that money's tight. I've dropped the price from the $199 down to $99 for those that come at it from this webinar. So for $99, seriously, there are 7 steps there, 7 phases, complete with how-tos, why-tos, workbooks, webinars, how-to instruction videos, and opportunities for us to have one-on-one conversations. All of that is inside that incredible 7-step $99 program. I urge you to go back and at the very least have a look at what's included in it and see if you can step up to the challenge of making sure that you have innovation in your corporation and that you are post-COVID and beyond always ready to give customers what they need from you today, tomorrow, and into the future. And if the 7-step innovation program is not for you, or you're not quite sure or not quite ready, there is an opportunity for you and I to have a one-on-one conversation. If you head back to the website, you'll find the button there, and you can book a half hour or an hour where you and I, literally one-on-one, can talk our way through your business, your products, your services, where I can give you an idea of what I think is ahead for you, the industry, the products and services that might suit you best. And we can chat about how you can bring those into your business and what you need to do next. In fact, that half-hour conversation can include anything you'd like about a conversation into tomorrow. Because that's exactly what we're building, your future business model. We can't just go running back in. We shouldn't just go running back in after COVID. We need to take the opportunity, like we have been taught over the past days, weeks and months. But if we take a deep breath, regardless of what we're going through, we will find some clarity, we will find some purpose, and we will find a direction ahead. As SME business owners, we need to make sure that we are ready to make profit from the first moment that we're able to, and that we are fine-tuning and squeezing every cent we can out of every product and service we sell and every interaction we have. Because that's our future. That's what you and I dreamed of as we trudged our way through COVID. We dreamed of a future. It's now in your hands to build. It is really up to you to decide how that future will play itself out and whether you will go back to being profitable. Because I'm sure you can, and I absolutely know that you're capable of it. The reality moving forward for you and I is exactly that. But for all the reasons we've discussed and all the things you know, going back doesn't make any sense at all. That world just doesn't exist anymore. The reality is that there is a world. It still needs you, it wants you, it's desperate for you. But it needs you to be ever so slightly different, or perhaps it needs you to be wildly different. You'll decide through these conversations that we've had in these 2 parts, and hopefully through the program that you'll join as you work your way through the 7 steps of innovation. But whatever it is you do, however you come to the conclusion, the reality for all of us is that going back makes no sense whatsoever. The only way that you and I can make profit into tomorrow and beyond is for you and I to face, to look, and to move forward.